All right, we will go ahead and begin. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is our July community of practice call for dietitians and culinary medicine. I will add it's dietitians and nutrition professionals in culinary medicine. I am a dietitian myself, and I'm targeting other dietitians, but uh, being a global organization, we're going to have folks that aren't necessarily called dietitians here that are still the equivalent within their respective territories and countries. So, welcome everybody who is here today. And those of you who are watching this as the recording, thank you for doing so. Thank you for being here too, even if you're not here in real time. Still counts, I think. And yeah, let's get started. I have some exciting stuff to share with you guys today. And I did take a peek. I know a few of you on this call today already know me, so I won't overshare today. I also want to really get into our content as well. But I would like you to share, if you don't mind, just to get to know you myself, but um, also, if maybe there's something I don't know about you, you could share that little tidbit. But if you're new, I really want to get to know you and know who I'm talking to, both today and at future calls. It gives me a better sense of what type of information to deliver and how I can serve you. So please pop into the chat real quick, your name, what you do, your professional background, and why you're here today. Is there anything in particular you're hoping to get out of these sessions? Maybe you're just here for a pep talk. I'm good at those too. So I'm happy to be to be your hype girl if you need one, or just, get those wheels going. Sometimes we get stuck in our own little ruts, or I think of it as tunnel vision on a specific task or a specific goal, and we have a hard time breaking outside that box sometimes. So these calls can be helpful for even just that. All right, I'm just going to take a peek and see who we got here. All right, hi JS, registered dietitian, huge foodie, same, looking to build skills and education and program development. Oh, and evaluation, excuse me. Very good. Hi Samira, thanks for joining. Oh, you're so kind to hear my wisdom and program development. Fabulous. Thank you for being here. This is the place. And as you can see in the chat, my executive assistant Rowena is here as well. If you have any questions in particular, it's hard for me to talk and read everything as it's coming in at the same time. She's going to field some of these for me. And if you need any links or anything, she'll also step in and share those links. Hi, Renata. Public health nutrition background. Very good. Interested in new culinary medicine and ready to explore more in this career path. Fabulous. Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. That's wonderful. So I'm focusing on content that's very applicable to a wide variety of settings in these beginning calls. It is as I get to know you and your specific needs, challenges, barriers, etc. I'm going to continue to tailor the content here to help you overcome those challenges and support your own personal and program goals within culinary medicine. So the more you can share, the more I can help you. It's a win-win. A little bit about me, just for those of you who don't know, I've been practicing culinary medicine for over 12 years officially, and I'll elaborate on that in just a minute. I've led the creation of the world's largest teaching kitchen program at a single integrated healthcare system in the world. This would be the Healthy Teaching Kitchen program in the Department of Veterans Affairs, serving over 200,000 participants annually. I've helped over 200 other culinary medicine programs get started, served over 40,000 different clients personally, in both my career with the VA and my own business here, as well as provided support to hundreds of dietitians in the field who want to start or enhance their own culinary medicine practice. And just to clarify with culinary medicine, and maybe that'll be a topic for another call, um, that term, it's still a relatively new term. So even if that term isn't what you feel like you're doing, if you're doing any sort of cooking or food preparation in conjunction with nutrition education, I'm gonna go ahead and say that counts for now. Technically, it would be culinary nutrition. There's a little bit of a nuance with the term, but we are helping people live healthier lives, and we're doing so with scenario, real life setting, skill-based learning. So it all kind of filters down into the same Same bucket there. But I am here to help you. I've got quite an extensive background here. I recognize that I have a special and unique perspective because of that experience with a medicine program at scale, and I want to share it. I've done this within a country, and now I want to do it on a global scale. It doesn't need to be me, though, and it can't be me because I can't be everywhere and I don't know everything. I need you guys. I need dietitians around the world to step up and take positions in culinary medicine, or become leaders in this field, or within their own healthcare organizations to champion these programs because this works. It is sustainable nutrition education. We're helping people change their behaviors. We're tapping into the drivers and motivators that lead them to this new type of behavior and continue to motivate them to keep it up. So they see that sustainable change, not just a short-term change. Um, and I really truly believe in this. I've devoted my career to it and I live it and preach it in almost everything I do. So I want to help you. I don't believe this type of information should be gate kept, which is why I created this free community practice call, Infuse. And you're here today benefiting from it. So I do appreciate that. I always have a hard time talking to nobody. So even if there's one other person on the end of the call, I'm good. I can go for it. It's only if I'm just completely alone. I have a hard time talking for some reason. So, welcome again, and you're in the right place. We're going to cover a whole variety of different skills, both conventional and more soft skill type, things that maybe you didn't learn in school, like leadership, communication. Maybe you learned a little bit. You had like one elective perhaps, but you didn't go real deep into it. um, those drivers of behavior change again. But if you want to learn more about culinary medicine, you came to the right place. If you don't know where to start or you're feeling overwhelmed, I can help clarify and simplify things. If you've already started and you want to enhance or expand your practice, I also got you. Because a lot of that is tapping into your resources and learning how to align your program with your own strengths, which is what we're going to talk about today, but also identifying key partnerships that can help expand that program or fill in the gaps. Maybe you've had a program just thrust upon you or just fell in your lap and you're not quite sure what to do with it, and people are asking you to do something. This is also a great place to start. Again, no barriers, but you can learn a lot. And if this is your first time joining us, you're always welcome to go back on YouTube and catch those replays. I do put all of our calls, all of our calls are recorded and I put them on YouTube. So if you ever want to backtrack and learn things or get just a refresher, it is all there for you. If you want more confidence, maybe you're in this type of position and you're doing it, but you still have kind of a little bit of imposter syndrome going on and you're not sure you have what it takes or people want what you have to deliver, I can reassure you of that and validate you do belong here and people do want to learn from you. You have valuable skills, knowledge, and perspectives that will help them. And maybe you just want to hang out because you know me and you like me, or you're interested in learning, but you're not really sure what you want to do with that yet. That's okay too. We're still happy to have you. Okay, so a little bit more background on me, going way back to the 90s. This is me as a child cooking. So I like to kind of joke that I've been doing this for almost 30 years, um, working in culinary medicine. But I guess officially I didn't have like an advertised program or a title. But I have been cooking for my entire life. And I've always felt that it doesn't make sense to talk about nutrition without also talking about food. Because that is the form that we experience nutrition in. If we are just talking about nutrients, it's kind of like speaking a different language. We lose some of the emphasis or the gold, I should say, in that translation. It doesn't quite make sense, right? I go shopping for food to make a recipe, right? I'm going to find apples and cinnamon and flour and eggs and milk, right? I'm not going shopping for calcium and phosphorus and saturated fat and unsaturated fat and protein. That's not what that looks like. So it just, I don't know, it just always made sense to talk about food and nutrition within that same conversation and have that be the translation. So it really never occurred to me until I got to school, like college school, that that wasn't just automatically part of it. Blew my mind. And I was fortunate to have at least a culinary medicine elective. It wasn't called culinary medicine at the time, but a cooking elective at my university. So I did get some exposure, but it wasn't enough, and I've kind of made it my life's mission to expand that and to empower other clinicians, specifically dietitians, to integrate this into their practice, even if you don't have a kitchen, a teaching kitchen. You don't have to have a beautiful facility. That is lovely, but you don't have to have that to get started and to do this. You can even do this in your one-on-one visits without a kitchen at all. You can demonstrate appliances. You can have them bring a recipe in and go through potential modifications with them, explore how to read the recipe, and then what to change and what those changes might entail. Walk them through it. Even that can be considered culinary medicine. So there's a lot of ways to implement this in your practice with the resources that you currently have. That's one of my big pillars, I should say, is don't let lack of anything stop you. You have what you need right now just to get it started. Anyway, so fast forward 30 years, here I am now. And like I said before, I've done this on quite a large scale as well as a small scale and in many different settings. So I'm pretty good at overcoming those challenges. Anything you're facing, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to assume I know everything you're up against, but a lot of what you've probably faced or will face, I have tackled before or helped other people tackle it, even if I haven't had that experience myself. So I'm happy to help and share that with you. All right. Now, I will say each of these calls does include a short CEU segment. You get half an hour of CE credit per call. I don't spend the whole call delivering education, which is why I only give you the half hour credit. It's not quite a full hour. Um, Regardless, though, I'm here to share my skills, knowledge, and perspective, and I'm really passionate about helping other clinicians find that path of least resistance to integrating this into their practice. It doesn't have to be the hard way. It doesn't have to be super elaborate. You can find simple ways to make a big impact. And just to get this out of the way, I don't like holding anything in. I don't like secrets. Spoiler alert, not everything I do is for free. This call is free and it will always be free. But if you're interested in going beyond this, working further, having a real deep dive into your program and your needs, that type of alignment, I do offer one-on-one and small group mentorship and professional development if you're wanting to start or enhance your current practice. You can reach out to me for more information, visit my website. I'm pretty easy to find. There's not a lot of Melanya Kushlas out there in the world working in culinary medicine. At least I'm the only one in culinary medicine that I know of. So um, go ahead and find me and reach out if you want to learn more about that. So moving on to the free stuff still. Another question for you, though I do see some really nice engagement from my first question. I appreciate you guys sharing um, about yourselves and your program. So I'm trying to read and talk at the same time, and it doesn't work very well. But my next question for you, and please use the chat for this too, what gets you the most jazzed about culinary medicine? And like, it could be your own program, which is kind of my next question. But it could also just be in general, like what about it excites you? What draws you to it? What gets you going? What makes you feel passionate? Why? I mean, I did ask this already. Why are you here? But why is this important to you? I'm excited to see your answers on this one. I love asking people why. It's my favorite question to ask. It's super simple. I can remember it, and it really generates a lot of content for deep reflection and conversation. So you can use this trick with your clients too. Enjoy the community building aspect. It's nice to see people break bread together, no matter what the context. Oh, I love that. Yes. Holistic healing. Yes. Knowing how to prepare food is empowering. It certainly is. It certainly is. Yeah. We're expecting people to do this, and we're just telling them about it. We're not showing them how necessarily. But with culinary medicine, we are. I love that. Gets you the most jazzed. And then if you want to take it a step farther and talk about your own program, thinking about that, What's your favorite part of what you currently offer? And it can be anything. There's no wrong answers here. Being able to empower others. I see empowerment as a big one. That's also one of my whys. I love it. I love hearing about people's long-term behavior changes and seeing them excited and loving new foods. Oh, that's great. Yes. I love it when I get to see them be successful too. Yeah. Oh, we have another Melanya. Hi, Melanya. Nice to meet you. Well, I already met you. Nice to see you on. I'm glad you could make it. Small changes in healthy eating doesn't need to be complicated. Precisely. We can make it complicated. In fact, as human beings, we're quite gifted at making things complicated, but it doesn't have to be. I don't want to say simple is better, but it kind of is because it's not just about knowing and doing. Think about the headspace it takes to make these decisions, right? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this as well as you probably have client populations as well, right? It's not even a knowledge or skill barrier, but an energy barrier, right? Or a lifestyle barrier where they have a million things going on, and this is one more thing on their to-do list, right? How are they going to sit down and plan out their meals or think of what to order on their grocery pickup order or go shopping for at the store when they're taking care of a family of six and they have a full-time job and they're going back to school and right? They have all this stuff competing for their headspace and their decision-making capacity. So that's another one we don't often talk about, but I feel like everybody can recognize that. Yeah. Lisa's sharing that one of her favorite parts is writing menus and seeing people's faces light up when they get to taste new flavors. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. I see a theme here. Discovering that healthy eating can taste good and be easy. Ease. Yes, ease is definitely a theme. Awesome. Oh, this is so wonderful. We could spend the whole hour just on this slide. But I won't do that to you. I will press on. But please keep sharing if you haven't shared yet and you're still typing. I do take a look at all of the chats to see what people are talking about, to get more information so I can help serve you better and just to get to know you. It helps me help you. Fabulous. Oh, this is so good. All right. So today's mini workshop, the last slide was kind of a little sneak peek as to what we're going to be talking about today. We're really going to be focusing on aligning your program with your own strengths. Our last call in June focused on getting to know your audience or your population and really learning to tailor that content to them. What do they need? What do they want? What's their capacity like? What's relevant to them? Those types of questions so you can better serve them. But it also helps to know what are you delivering, right? How are you serving them? What do you bring to the table? And some of this is to kind of take away a little bit of that imposter syndrome that I know many dietitians kind of feel in this space. Even if you're out there doing it, there might be a little voice in the back of your head sometimes that keeps you back or holds you back from doing more or going for what you really would want to or thinking, well, there's other people that do this better. Well, maybe, but they don't do it the way you do it. You do it the way you do it the best out of everybody. So we're going to talk about identifying those strengths. This is a little bit confidence building in its nature, but it's also really to maximize the potential impact of your program or your practice. That's really what it is about. Because when we are serving in a way that aligns with our natural abilities, strengths, and passions, we're going to show up fully. We're going to deliver more, and we're going to really make those connections that lead to that sustainable experience for people. So our learning objectives today, I didn't put learning objectives last time. So I am also learning that I should do that publicly for my CEs. A lot of people asked me for them. So here they are. We're going to assess your personal strengths. We're going to connect you with your why, which we already kind of did, but we're going to go a little deeper. Map complementary team roles. So you don't have to be everything to everyone. That's okay. I know a lot of us are probably used to wearing multiple hats and we kind of get in that groove. And after a while, that's what we're used to doing. So that's what we are. We're just everything all the time. And it is exhausting. But I do want, and that might be a little bit necessary still in your current role. I'm not saying that it's not, but it's worth evaluating. It's worth looking at. What do you really like out of all? Which hats are your favorite, so to speak? Which hats would you like to give away? Because you can start to engineer things to support your strengths or the hats you want to wear, and maybe you can start outsourcing or partnering for those other hats. And then we're going to wrap up by aligning your programming, or at least talking about it, with your zone of genius. And if you don't know what that is, if you do know what that is, say so in the chat. I would love to see who already knows. If you don't know what that is, I will share it. It's a pretty wonderful piece of self-reflection uh, there. Okay. So first, let's start off with you. I think of this as an inventory. It is an assessment, but first, I just like to start off by making a big list. So if you don't already have some paper available, I would encourage you to grab just a scratch sheet of paper, a notebook or something, and take some notes while we do this. Writing does help commit things to memory, and it also is a way for us to express ourselves and process information. So very helpful, even if you never look at it again, to write things down as we're going through them. But I want you to make a list, and this is part of your homework too. Make a list of all your skills and experiences that you consider yourself good at. Now, this can be big stuff, little stuff. Think back to not even your relevant culinary medicine positions right now, but anything and everything you've done in life, right? What have you done that you excelled at or that you really loved, or both? Bonus if it's both, right? Maybe you're really good at making people feel welcome or noticed or acknowledged. That's a skill. Maybe you're really good at being organized or keeping up with deadlines. Maybe you're really good at retaining tidbits of knowledge that other people don't seem to remember, or little factoids or quotes. I am terrible at quotes. I cannot remember things verbatim. I remember concepts and big things, I suppose. Um, but maybe that's your skill, right? What are things that you have been praised for on previous performance evaluations? That's a good place to start. What do other people seek you out for? Professionally or personally, right? Do they come to you for assistance with something? Maybe they want you to review their paper before they submit it in school. Maybe now they want you to read this email before they send it off to make sure it's worded in a polite way, but their point is still getting across, right? That's a skill. Think about these and keep a list. And I will say this exercise can go beyond just today. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep moving forward, but really think on that, okay? Skills and experiences. Add to this list, what are your specialty practice areas? Is there anything that you have sought out additional knowledge about, or that you are very experienced in this particular segment of the population? Maybe you have a certification in geriatric nutrition, right? So you are a specialist in that field. Maybe you don't have a certification, but you've worked in geriatric nutrition for 20 years, right? You have that experience. Not just geriatric, but whatever, right? Pick your specialty. What do you specialize in? What have you sought continuing education credits for in the past? Now, what are your physical resources? So far we've kind of talked about non-physical resources. I'll just say that because I can't think of the other word right now. But what are your physical resources pertaining to culinary medicine? I will point that out. But it could be technology, right? Maybe you have all the latest things. Technology is not my strength, as you can tell. Like videos and sound doodads and microphones and different camera angles or something, right? For your teaching kitchen or just for your practice or your hobbies. Like this can be things outside. Maybe you are a D&D whiz and you have this entire gaming setup. You could use that resource to deliver culinary medicine too, because you have the equipment to do so, right? So that's kind of what we're exploring here. We're inventorying all of these strengths, all of these assets, if you will, both physical and non-physical, that could serve your program. It's worth looking at, definitely worth looking at. In my time with the VA, of course, everybody experienced this, but I was with the VA at the time. I don't know why I said it that way, but COVID happened, right? That was a big deal for everybody, a collective, traumatic, worldwide event. But in that, I pioneered us pivoting from a in-person teaching kitchen to a virtual teaching kitchen, and I led that charge. And I got people out of their box and get them to think creatively about how the setup could look. And that was a time of true ingenuity, not just by myself, but by a lot of people. I saw some really cool stuff happening. And what we discovered is that teaching out of your own kitchen is just as effective as having a built-in in-person teaching kitchen for different reasons. They do serve different populations, they have different pros and cons, but they did serve a need that we weren't addressing before. So it was pretty cool to see that. So I always like to challenge people, think outside the box and really assess anything and everything that could lend itself to helping you in your program. What do you have? Maybe you have a fully stocked kitchen. All right, maybe they won't come over and cook with you, but you could still bring those supplies elsewhere. You could transport them, or you could deliver a cooking class in your own home. Maybe you have certain, what other physical resources? Maybe you have connections, right? Maybe you have connections to people in the community. You could see if your church has a kitchen you could rent or use or borrow to deliver culinary medicine. Maybe there's someone in your organization, or there's an empty kitchen in your organization, or a shared kitchen in your organization. Maybe it belongs to a different department, but you could negotiate some sort of way to use that, right? Kind of list those out too. Next, look at your soft skills. Communication style. Wow, I sure did not finish spelling that word, but you got the idea. Communication style. Soft skills are how you relate to people, right? That is a skill, and I want to really draw attention to that because it's an important skill that doesn't really get named a lot of times. When we're creating this culinary medicine offering, it really is an experience, and that's kind of the end game here. We want to create an experience that empowers the people we are trying to serve, right? But within that experience, it needs to be positive, it needs to be welcoming, it needs to be a comfortable, safe space because they are learning a new skill and they are choosing to become vulnerable in that, right? Learning something new in front of a group of your peers is very intimidating. Most adults do not like to do that. And it is amazing that they are willing to do that, right? But us creating that space is very important to that. If we create a space where they feel any hint of judgment, they're not going to come back. They're not going to enjoy it, and they're not going to repeat it in their own personal life, right? We need to hold that space for them. And the ability to do so is not necessarily something everybody can do or currently does. I'm sure it is a learned skill. I feel like you can learn to do just about anything. But maybe it comes very naturally to some of us and not others. So if you have that effect on people, if you are comfortable to be around and you're someone they can connect with and talk with openly, that is also a skill that you can harness to create that environment, right? Because a learning environment needs to be supportive and positive. It's not meant to be punitive. That's gonna chop it off at the knees there. And next, last but not least, what areas of practice are you confident in? And this is a little similar to specialty. However, it's not the same. You can train in something and still not feel confident in it. You could have been doing something your whole life and never trained in it, but still feel really confident. So it's a little bit different, but what are you confident in? I have been teaching culinary medicine for 12 plus years, and I have not formally been to a culinary school. I've taken like shorter term, like practicum type classes, and I've taught myself a lot. But that's an area of practice that I specialize in, but I didn't go through that formal training. However, I'm quite confident in doing it because I've done it bajillions of times in the last decade or so, and I'm just very comfortable with it now. Um, I will say maybe when I first started my teaching kitchen, I wasn't super duper confident. I did feel self-conscious a little bit, but I just did it. And the more I did it, the better I got. Um, so yeah, okay, next. This is your personal inventory. Hang on to this. Don't do anything with it yet. Um, I want you to think now. Well, you can do something with it, but we'll do it later. I want you to think now again on your why. And this is all probably very similar to what you shared in the chat with me earlier, which I really appreciate. Excuse me. But think about why you're doing this. Why are you here? Why are you even called to this vocation? Maybe you chose it. Maybe it happened upon you. What population do you serve? What are your interests pertaining to relevant problems and challenges they experience? That's a big question. But this kind of combines what we talked about last time in terms of knowing your audience. What do they need? What do they want? And layering that over what you have to offer. But what you have to offer should also be built on your strengths and your why. The why is very important because this is what brings the passion, right? When we are passionate about something, we're going to deliver so much more than if we are not. I don't know who said it or what quote it is, but there is a very famous quote about um, like recruiting people to fight a battle. And it's like, what is it? Like one willing soldier is worth 100 unwilling or something like that. Like I said before, I'm very terrible at remembering things verbatim. Perhaps Rowena can find that quote for me and put it in the chat. But that's kind of the concept here. If you're doing something, maybe not unwillingly, but your heart's not in it, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to create the same experience for someone as if you were passionate about it. So that passion, that why, is very important. And I don't have the research and outcomes to back this up yet. But I feel like you know it to be true because you've probably experienced that when you have a provider or maybe just a professor. Maybe that's a better one. A professor or a teacher who genuinely cared about what they were doing. They probably made an impression on you. It does make a difference. Um, Also think about what problem do you serve for your population? That's also a really good one for connecting your strengths to their needs. What is the common ground there in that Venn diagram, right? That's what you really want to focus on. You don't have to do all the things. Your program doesn't have to hit all of the culinary techniques, all of the needs this population ever has. If you can, great, but most of us can't, and most of us don't need to. Work within your strengths. Someone else is out there who can fill in that gap. Maybe invite them to this call. No. Think about why this work is important for you. And then I have one more question. If this is hard for you to think of and you're not really getting a specific why, reverse the perspective. Ask yourself, instead of why am I doing this? Right? What am I passionate about? What are my interests? What do I really care about? Flip it and think, what breaks my heart? Sometimes it's easier to identify things when we have lost them, not when we have them, because sometimes we're used to having them. But you don't know what you have till it's gone, right? So think about losing something, or think about what would be missing. What breaks your heart when you see it? What do you want to change for people? What do you want to fix? What do you want to champion? That right there is going to be a big part of your why. All right, so now that you know yourself very, very well, maybe more than you ever have before, at least you know your strengths. You have an inventory of things you're good at, you're skilled at, you're experienced with, you feel confident in. You've thought about why you're here, what you're looking to deliver, how you can serve your population. Think about what you need now. And you can think about this like if you were building a team, like this is almost like a soccer team, right? You need different people to play different positions, just like that. Who is in your interdisciplinary team? Is it another dietitian? Maybe there's more people than you can serve alone and you need another nutrition expert. Maybe you don't feel very confident in your chefing skills, but you feel super confident about nutrition. Maybe you can partner with a culinary professional, a chef, or a local cook in the community. They can also be very knowledgeable and often offer a really nice segue to tap into a portion of the community, especially if you don't necessarily represent them, right? I am. I'm a very vanilla person. I do not represent everybody in the world, not even a fraction. Well, I guess a fraction of anything, but right? When I'm teaching other populations that I am not a representation of, I always try to partner with someone from that community. And that way, I'm just facilitating the delivery of the experience, but it is coming from someone who knows what it's like to be them and live in that community. And that is an asset, but it's not one I can provide, right? That's not one of my strengths. And I'm recognizing that and I'm trying to fill those gaps. So who are you missing? What are you missing? What skills do you need? Maybe you have everything you need, but you need people to serve. In which case, partner with partner with referral sources like physicians. Physicians are often the number one person. If you are a physician, we're glad to have you. Thank you for being here. You do a lot for us. Physicians are often the number one person who gets and hears all of these things that patients and people talk about, right? Dietitians usually are at the first line. It's the primary care doctors. People will bring these things up, even just at their physicals, right? Things come up in that type of conversation when they're reviewing labs. As much as I believe a dietitian should be part of that practice team, it is not always the case yet. But you can still make yourself known to physicians in your community and ask them for referrals. Invite them to a session so they learn what culinary medicine is like and what it can do for their patients. Because they want to solve problems for their patients too. And they have a why as well. So if you can learn their why and show them how you can help them, they can help you, you can get that referral system set up and have people to serve. So think of that. Think of who you can either recruit to your team or just partner with in your community, in your healthcare system, in your geographical region, whatever it may be. These types of partnerships allow you to do more and serve more. You can do a lot as one person. I know you can. I can. You can too. We all can. But we can only do so much. Our time and energy is finite. And we all have lives outside of work, right? So make those partnerships so you can really expand your impact. All right, one of my favorite little tidbits of information here is, and it relates to aligning with your strengths because this is a deep dive into where you like to work. If you haven't heard of it before, this is the 4 zones, and this concept was coined by Gay Hendricks in his book, The Big Leap. Rowena is going to pop a link to that in the chat for you if you haven't heard of it before. It's about overcoming self-limiting beliefs and these self-imposed barriers we put on ourselves when we're trying to achieve greater things. We kind of self-sabotage and hold ourselves back. But a lot of this is also really just identifying what you want to do. And he talks about it in the context of your entire life. I'm narrowing it down to this particular field of culinary medicine, but I really like the framework he presents. We each have 4 zones that we work in. We have a zone of incompetence. These are things we are no good at, nor do they bring us joy. Other people are much better at them, and we don't really enjoy them. They're kind of like necessary chores and burdens and tasks. We have a zone of competence. These are things that we are also not particularly skillful at, but we can get it done. And maybe we even find some peace and joy in doing them. They could be satisfying, right? They kind of trigger our productivity quotas here, right? We feel good accomplishing a task. So these are the zone of competence. But again, it's nothing we're particularly special at. We just happen to be doing it. So it's just some examples here. So I'm going to use myself as an example because I'm acutely aware of my zones. One of my zones of incompetence would be quantifying time. I'm very terrible at telling you how much time it's going to take me to do something and actually doing it within that time frame. Consequently, I really beef up my time frames for people's expectations so I can always deliver. But that is an incompetence of mine. I'm not good at doing it. Competence would be laundry. I'm not particularly gifted at doing laundry, but I find it somewhat enjoyable of a household task. I know not everybody feels that way. But that is a zone of competence. I could easily outsource that to someone who is better at laundry than I am. But I don't mind it, so I keep doing it. Zone of excellence, I'm going to go to next. I'm saving genius for last. Zone of excellence is something that you are really skilled at, but it's not quite your passion. This one's tricky, and a lot of us fall into zone of excellence and never really get out because we receive praise from others for being good at this thing. And we love that. We love the external validation. But it might not be our zone of genius. Our zone of genius is where what you're good at and your passions overlap. So it's both you are excellent at it, and you just love it. This is where work doesn't feel like work. And I'm going to make a bet that there's a little bit of all four of these in your teaching kitchen practice or culinary medicine practice. So kind of think through that. What is your incompetence within that? Or if it's bigger than that, if it's a whole program and you are representing a team, think of your entire team as this, right? Because you have those different players. Is there any incompetence within that team? Are there any areas where nobody's really that great at it? Competence. What are people doing well, but they don't love it? They just do it because it has to get done. Excellence. You have people that are really good at this, but they still seem to be working too hard at it, right? It doesn't come naturally to them necessarily. They don't seem to be energized by it. They seem to be drained from it. And then you have zone of genius, where people are just in it, in the zone, right? That's what I think of. This is you're just working your passion. You're delivering what you're excited about. So for me, a zone of excellence. Oh, what is a zone of excellence? Zone of excellence, I think, would be delivering teaching kitchens. I'm going to get real personal here, delivering that program. But I think my zone of genius is helping other people learn how to deliver the programs. I think that's what I really excel at. And that's why I created Infuse. Infuse doesn't feel like work to me. I enjoy doing this. I'm showing up voluntarily. I get $0 for my time and energy here. I just love it. And I love sharing this information. So I know that this is my zone of genius. And I do love making money from it too. Don't get me wrong. But I still enjoy doing it regardless. So that's also very telling. What parts of your program? Oh, this is a thought. What is the question? Sorry, I'm just trying to remember something that I'm very poor at doing. Um, someone asked, this was in like a self-development workshop I did. Someone asked, what would you do if you had won the lottery? Would you still working? And what would you be doing if you were working? Right? That type of question. The thought of if money was no object, what would I be doing with my life? What would my vocation be? That's a really good way to identify this zone of genius. Your answer to that is very telling. What would you just enjoy doing because you like it, right? That's your zone of genius. So, working in any four of these areas, none of it is inherently wrong. There's no shame in that either. It's a very necessary part of this, I believe. But to optimize that program impact and to conserve your own energy so you can show up where it matters the most, if you can shift things even a little bit to align with your zone of genius, your program will grow and you will feel better about it, right? You won't be wearing 17 hats. You'll be wearing 5, maybe. I don't know. That's realistic. Maybe you'll be wearing 10 still, but you can reduce the number of hats you're wearing. You can choose partners. This is also, I'm going to go to the next slide because I think I'm talking about it now. Align the programming. Yes, I am talking about it. You can choose team members or partners that fill in those gaps, right? Once you know your zone of genius, find other people whose zones of genius are the other things that you need for your program. Maybe your zone of genius isn't necessarily remembering nutrition facts, but it is helping people make a meal plan or a grocery list or come up with new recipe ideas that they like and are nutritious. Maybe that's your zone. So find someone else to handle some of the nitty-gritty stuff. Maybe partner with a dietitian and co-facilitate this, and they can do some more of the assessment pieces or the evaluation pieces. Or partner with a chef to give more ideas or examples of how people can do this. And then you go in with the nutrition elements there that people want to focus on. Maybe you even partner with another healthcare provider that isn't who I've mentioned before, like an OT or a speech language pathologist or something. They see clients too, and they see needs for dietitians, and they'll see this kind of lifestyle piece as well, but they may not fully recognize it or know how to refer to you. That could be another person to add to your team. All of it has a place, but it depends on the program or the program's needs. So now I want you to take everything that we've written down on the work, not the worksheet, but on your scratch sheet of paper, and really think about how can you align your program with your zone of genius. That's a big question. Start small. Don't think big, but start small. Is there any one small little thing you can change now? Maybe it is shifting the content that you deliver. Maybe it's just changing the cooking style, right? Maybe you're not very comfortable with cooking over a stove and you're a hardcore appliance person. You love your Instapot. Change your recipes. Make them Instapot recipes, right? If that's more your zone of genius. And partner with people who can show other techniques or skills. Just as an example there. So map these key activities that happen in your program or that you want to happen in your program with people whose higher skills or high value skills, and that's their zone of genius. If you don't have those people on your team, that's okay. We don't all have access to a large organization all the time. Go out and see if you can find some in your community. At least keep your eyes open for them. Once you're aware of this and you're kind of looking for it, you'll be surprised who just pops up in life to kind of address some of those needs. But you won't find them if you're not looking for them, right? It's that concept of, if you're thinking of a yellow car, guess what you're going to see? You're going to see yellow cars more than any other color. That's what you're going to notice. So once you have the idea in your head that you're looking for this and seeking it to support your program, you're going to be more likely to find that person. And then last but not least, to kind of summarize this, you're going to outline a plan. It doesn't have to be fancy. Again, don't complicate it. Simple plan, not the band, but make a simple plan to delegate or partner these tasks. Even if you don't have a partner yet, you can even split this list of things that you need in your program or practice into two things that you want to do and things that you do not want to do. That's a good place to start. And then see where you can outsource those things you don't want to do or minimize them so you don't have to do them as much, or maybe you could do them in a different way. Maybe you don't like communication, but you're super techie and you don't mind setting up automated communication systems. There you go. That is a way to achieve something on your um, incompetence or excellence, but not take away from your energy to deliver your genius. Okay. All right. We are running out of time. So I'm going to wrap up. But that is the bulk of my session today. I hope you enjoyed that self-reflection exercise. Please continue to work on it. Like I said, it's going to happen here, but thoughts may continue to trickle on as the week goes on. So keep up with that note taking. But the take-home message is asking yourself, what lights a fire in your soul, right? Why are you here? What are you doing this? What are you doing this? What are you doing with this? What strengths do you bring to the table? Seek out partnerships to fill those gaps and focus on what you can offer, not what you can't, what you can offer, and just align your program accordingly. And just a little self-empowerment reminder here. There is more than one way to practice culinary medicine. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it every single time. Play to your strengths. You don't have to be everyone, everything to everyone. Just be yourself. Just be you. You have valuable skills, knowledge, and perspectives that can help people, and they do want to learn from you. That's why they show up. You guys showed up today to learn from me. I just can't speak anymore. My goodness. Right? So there is something I'm offering that has value to you. It is going to be the same for your population. You add value to their lives. They want you to show up. All right, because everybody likes free stuff, just as a quick reminder, since you showed up today, once every 3 months, I'm going to draw a winner for a free culinary medicine resource. We are doing our drawing in August. You will get one entry into this drawing for being here today. That's all you have to do, nothing fancy. Every time you attend a call, you get an additional drawing. So if you attended last month's call as well, and before that, etc., you will get that many drawings, and it never ends until you win. Once you win, I'll take you out. But yeah, so keep showing up, keep sharing this with people in your circle who might benefit from it. And just as a reminder, you do also get half a CE credit for attending. I will be sending those CE certificates out after today's call. Please do your homework. Oh, I don't have a worksheet. I'm so sorry. I didn't update that part from last time. But our next call is on August 19th. Share this call, really focus in and identify your top strengths. And one thing I would like you to do, I hope everybody knows what a SMART goal is, but specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-sensitive. Set one little SMART goal on how you're going to make a shift in your practice or program towards your strengths, towards that zone of genius. All right. And I want you to share it with me or just a colleague. Sharing it gives you that accountability. And we're much more likely, it's something like if we make a goal and we share it with someone and we set a weekly accountability, there's like a 95% chance we're going to achieve that goal. It's wild how successful people are. But you have to form that accountability. So do that. Share it with me if you want, if you don't know anybody, but also just share it with somebody else. It doesn't have to be me. And then mark August 19th on your calendar. Thank you very much, everybody. It has been a pleasure. I appreciate you being here or watching along on the recording. My name is Melanya Kushla, and I will see you all again next month. Have a great day, everyone.